told you, Mr. Presley.
I believe I can be great. Some people wanted to put me in jail. It's the way I was moving.
Don't so much as wiggle a finger.
I'm gonna show you what the real Elvis is like tonight.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2022 biopic Elvis, a film that is directed by Baz Luhrmann and it stars Austin Butler as Elvis Presley and Tom Hanks as Colonel Tom Parker. Now this is a film obviously that tells the story of Elvis Presley. It does it slightly differently. It kind of does it from the perspective of Colonel Tom Parker, his controversial promoter. Now, we all know Elvis, you know what I mean? Me personally, I was born in 1972, so I kind of grew up, you know, Elvis was still massively popular when I was young. I don't remember much about his death, so I think I was still quite young, but I remember it being a massive event. My mum was a fan of Elvis, as everybody seemed to be those days. And he's obviously a massive musical icon and an American icon. So to do a biopic based on Elvis, especially when you consider the recent films, especially the Bohemian Rhapsody, so on and so forth, have depicted, you know, and done brilliant business in regards to focusing on musical icons, kind of made sense because even though there have been a number of Elvis biopics over the years, you know, you've got the John Carpenter one with Kurt Russell, and there's been numerous ones over the years. It's fair to say it's probably been a while. And I've been looking forward to this to some degree. I've not been, you know, itching to get to the cinema and rushing out and watching this one sort of thing, because I'm not what you would describe as an Elvis fan. Obviously, I know who he is and I respect him and what he brought to music and culture and all this, or whatever you want to throw at it sort of thing. But it's not what I would describe as one of my most hotly anticipated films of the year. However, I have to say, after watching this, I was super impressed. I really enjoyed this film. I thought it was, I thought it looked beautiful. I thought it was structured really nicely. It felt fairly fast-paced. It didn't focus too heavily on any aspect of Elvis's life, the positives or the negatives. It kind of kept things rolling and kept you as an audience member interested. And I thought it was a fun idea to kind of do it from the Colonel's perspective. Now, for those of you who don't know, Colonel Tom Parker, and I'll be honest, I didn't realise, you know, like I say, I don't follow Elvis that closely to know really who Colonel Tom Parker was. But he was Elvis's promoter who grabbed hold of Elvis when he was a young performer and guided his career right up until his death, basically. And he was quite a controversial figure, and it was revealed after Elvis's death that, you know, you could argue, you know, Elvis was, you know, doing slave labour almost for Colonel Tom Parker. He was holding back many of the finances and things like that. So, quite a controversial figure and an interesting idea to do it from Colonel Tom Parker's perspective, because he's like the narrator throughout the film. But it put a different spin on it, and I thought it really worked. Initially, the first 5, 10, 15 minutes of the film, I was a bit unsure of it. Felt a bit, I don't know, I wasn't keen on the editing, and it was like focusing, I don't know, maybe I just didn't find it particularly interesting, the early part of Elvis's life, that sort of thing. But I thought once he started going out on the road in his early career, it started picking up then, I thought, and I started getting interested. And yeah, I really did enjoy this one. I do want to say, though, in regards to the performances here, Tom Hanks as Colonel Tom Parker, I'm not sure what to really make of this performance. Part of me thought it was really good, and part of me thought it was a little bit odd. And I'm not sure if that was on purpose. I'm not sure. I don't even know what Colonel Tom Parker sounded like, if I'm honest, in reality. So I've no idea how to compare Tom Hanks' voice to Colonel Tom Parker. But we know he was like an illegal alien in the US sort of thing. Was he from Holland or Austria, something like that? So I'm just not sure what to make of Tom Hanks' performance. At times I thought it was brilliant, and at other times I thought it was a little bit odd. And I've not honestly seen a lot of reviews or seen a lot of written feedback or anything on what people thought of Tom Hanks' performance. Wouldn't surprise me if he got nominated for an Oscar, because what do I know at the end of the day? But I thought it was a little bit odd at times. But what I do want to say is Austin Butler as Elvis. Wow, where has this kid come from? Outstanding performance. I mean, the epitome of Elvis on screen. I mean, perfect casting. There are times when you looked at him when you thought, I'm not sure he looks like Elvis, and then there's other times you looked at him and you think, that is Elvis. A metamorphosis, really, and as he grew into the film and grew into the character, it became more and more Elvis. The voice, the moves, the mannerisms, everything. It was an incredible performance, honestly, and I genuinely do think he deserves an Oscar nod for this performance. I thought it was stunning. Really good. He's obviously a very, very talented young man. And yeah, I hope this film puts him on the map as it deserves to, because he's absolutely brilliant. I mean, some of the moves he does and everything. I mean, it's just fantastic. Gets you all goosebumps and everything going when you're watching him going for it. And the film focused on, like I say, all aspects of Elvis's life, from his rise, from when early in his career where they tried to censor him and, you know, he got arrested and things like that for his gyrations and what they described as like, I don't know, the performances he would do, moving his hips about and stuff, was just not unheard of at the time, and you know, they weren't going to allow it. And then his time in the military, which I didn't realise, and I presume it's true because they showed it here in this film. His time in the military was as a result of him being arrested. They kind of said, right, you can have 2 years in the military, you can go to jail. So that's what resulted in his time in the military. Then his time in Hollywood when he got out of the military, his marriage to Priscilla, his famed Christmas TV special. Even I'd heard of that, you know what I mean, where they just basically wanted him to wear Christmas jumpers and sing Christmas songs, and he did something really, really different and radical, and it was massively popular. And then it kind of finished on his Vegas career, where many thought after his Christmas special he should have really toured the world, and that's what Elvis wanted to do, but he was kind of convinced by the Colonel to do this show in Vegas, and then basically he was signed up to Vegas for a number of years, and that's where he basically ended his career. So yeah, I thought it was a really, really good film, a really, really interesting depiction of Elvis's life. If you know nothing about Elvis, if you know only about his music, and even if you don't know much about his music, you need to kind of learn about these cultural icons as Elvis was and is, what his contribution to music was and is. And I found it absolutely fascinating. I'm one of these, I like movies like this, and I like, you know, documentaries and stuff that depict, you know, and give us information about real people and real events and that kind of stuff. So I was really into this film. I really, really enjoyed it, and I'd go as far as to say it's in and amongst my favourite films of the year so far. So if you get the opportunity, don't forget to check out Elvis. I don't think you'll be disappointed. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this review. I'll be back with more content on the channel very, very soon.